Hope for Patriots. From Charlie Ward.
Hi guys, just to let you know, I've been given consent this morning to tell you something that I've had to keep very, very quiet because I signed an NDA about this, and I can confirm 100% that the blockchain technology was used for the voting on this election alongside the conventional voting system. And Donald Trump won by a complete landslide. I mean, the figures are off the scale. He has all of the hard evidence. This was a sting operation rather than a vote. But I can now tell you that the QFS, the quantum financial system, was actually used, the quantum voting system was actually used for this election. So we actually know the true result, and we know the ones that the Democrats tried to twist. So for those people that doubted it, we now have hard evidence. And over the next few days, there will be a number of arrests and a number of indictments and a lot of things that are happening. But I can tell you 100% that the QFS, quantum financial system, was actually used for this election alongside the old system. So brilliant news, and Donald Trump won by a landslide.
A simple stone shall take down the giant. Prophecy from Kim Clement. February 2014. The Keystone State. Pennsylvania.
Thread on Twitter by Punisher Patriot. Oh my God, take the time to read this. 10 Days of Darkness. We've read about this on the Q boards for years. There have been many times where many, including myself, have thought we were in it. But all of us were wrong. Trump won the election. And then overnight, he had it stolen from him. We've had to watch the trolls dance on Trump's metaphorical grave and celebrate the fall of America and the rise of socialism. 4 days later, plenty of proof of cheating, and they announced Joe Biden as the president-elect, projected, of course. I get messages every day from hurt Trump supporters who think, what's the use? We can't win without cheating and we can't stop them. And in the end, we still lost. And where again is Bill Barr? Why hasn't he gotten involved yet? Valid questions. What if I told you Trump wanted to lose? What if I told you that losing by way of cheating from the other side was the plan? It's about exposure and optics. Trump had to win in a landslide, and he did. So that the amount of cheating required for the Dems to win would need to be so vast that it would be impossible to hide it. Had Trump overcome like he did in 2016, there would have been no legal battle over it. The lower courts would have thrown them out, like they are right now, except for Pennsylvania. The Supreme Court wouldn't have heard it since it was both left-leaning and there wasn't an emergency situation that involved national security. But losing with a conservative lean in the courts, with mounds of evidence, was the play. Evidence that is impossible to deny. Now by the Constitution, if the race is close, then Congress can decide the winner. This is why they cheated just enough to edge out a win for Biden so that if Trump challenged and couldn't get a Supreme Court case, they could just decide in favor of Biden. Stay with me. I know this is a long one. I'm going to clean it up for you in a bit. The Dems think they have the optics on this one by declaring Biden the winner. But here's the thing, this race ain't even close to over. Here's why. Patriot Joe M had his Twitter account suspended over this comment. Patriots, be warned. President Trump has legally claimed the states he knows he won fairly. The counting going on is now just a formality because the intent is to settle in court, not at the counting stations. If he loses this count, it means nothing, because this election will be Amy Coney Barrett's to decide. I promise and guarantee you, Biden will never be sworn in as president. Twitter took him down hours later. Not the post, the entire account. What is he talking about? He used the keywords legally claimed when referring to Trump's victory. In other words, Trump will lose the election optically, but the court will say he won. I know that sounds crazy to you, but let me tell you why this is true. Biden won the count. Cheating or not, he won the count. That's a fact. But the states that kept accepting and counting ballots after the day of the election are in violation of their own state laws. What am I talking about? PA has laws on the books that states they cannot accept any new ballots that arrive after the day of the election. Anything coming in afterward is invalid. You're prob thinking, well, the Supreme Court of PA overrode that law in a court ruling and gave them 3 more days to collect. And you would be right. But according to how the governmental system is set up, the courts can't create law. They can only enforce the law that is already on the books. In order for the state to follow the direction of the Supreme Court of their state, they need to actually go back and rewrite the laws to reflect the court's decision. Understand this, every day is an IQ test because these morons never rewrote any laws to make the state's Supreme Court ruling legally binding. What other states were this careless and lazy with the legal process? You ask? Over 30 states did the same thing in violation of their own laws by counting new votes after Election Day. In other words, all these trucks coming in at 2 and 3 in the morning on November 4th and beyond are invalid. Biden may have won the count, but only because they kept counting invalid votes for days after the election ended. The Supreme Court of the United States will not count those votes. And since Trump was in the lead when the election ended, he is the legitimate legal president. This is why I kept telling you all that ACB was the Trump card. The nuclear card would be martial law and mass arrests, but that's a very dangerous call for the country. To win, legally in the court system, was the Trump card, people. And while in the court they can unload all the evidence to show mass cheating. In Michigan, they discovered a glitch in the vote tally system. After votes were cast in one county, over 6,000 votes for Trump glitched over into Biden votes. Glitched? Well, this software was used in 47 other counties in Michigan, and used all over the country. If they all averaged the same number of vote glitches, that's well into the millions of votes that were altered after cast. Here is the interesting part. The ballot machines were all connected to the internet. Yes, they are supposed to be linked to internet, meaning internal computer networks of that one facility, but they're not supposed to be linked to the World Wide Web. Sidney Powell, General Flynn's attorney, said that they discovered an algorithm that calculated how many votes Biden needed to win. She said they found out the machines were transferring just enough votes from Trump to Biden so that he could win. That's why they were doing recounts and we kept seeing Trump's numbers go down and Biden's go up in various states. Now here's the you can't make this stuff up part. The software that the machines are using to tally up the votes is owned and controlled by Paul Pelosi. Yes, Nancy Pelosi's husband. He not only sits on the board of the software company that tallies the votes, he's the majority owner of it. So these glitches that only glitch in one direction isn't a glitch. It's a computer program designed to do all of this without any of us knowing it. It does it so fast that we couldn't even detect it during the actual counting. This is how they were able to call states 10 minutes after the elections closed. The algorithm calculated a Biden win based on information they entered into the system. Patriots. So, if Sidney Powell has this information, you know the DOJ does. And they probably have more that will come out in the Supreme Court hearings. The DOJ. Where are they? They have the goods. They don't need the courts to tell them to arrest, just the command from POTUS. Why are they so quiet? 10 days of darkness. It wasn't what we thought, people. It wasn't 10 days of media blackout, 10 days of social media blackout. 10 days of darkness to a period of time where Q went dark, the president lost the election, and it looks like we're headed to a socialist government. The DOJ, by constitutional law they can't get involved with the election until 10 days after Election Day. 10 days? The election was on November 3rd, by law they have to wait until the 14th to get involved. It doesn't mean they can't make arrests. They can arrest some small-time players that were involved with the plot. I'm told from a reliable source last night that a few of these arrests will happen next week sometime. But after 10 days Barr can arrest anyone from the intern in the Biden break room to Biden himself. Hugh said the first big arrest will shock you. I can't see another shocking thing that the President-elect of the United States getting arrested for treason, ballot fraud and crimes against humanity. So sit back, grab your popcorn and watch the movie. The Patriots are in control. We are in the storm.
Please consider supporting my channels on Patreon, and thank you to all of you who are already giving on Patreon. I really appreciate your support.